That's not part of our culture over here. That's
Right.
foreign invading influence on our culture.
Yeah, the Canaanites, the Baal worship.
That's all of those ancient gods was before this religious shit. This Judaism, Christianity, and Islam is the problematic spiritual teachings because it brainwashes you instead of liberates you. It traps you in box after box after box. In Islam, you can't even go to work without having to stop midway through your first session and do a salat.
That's
Then you got waiting on lunch. You got to stop again, do another salat before you can even go to lunch. That's fucking retarded. That's hostage holding. You holding them hostage.
Yeah, and Jesus said, "Don't do that, though." Jesus, that's the only part about some of the stuff like that. Jesus said that you don't gotta pray but one time. You don't gotta keep telling me. Once you tell me one time what you want, get out home.
One of the coldest verses in the Bible is it say, "These people draw nigh unto me with their mouth, but their hearts are far from me."
Right.
Teaching as commandments the doctrines of men.
Right.
And I was like, yep.
Islam got its good points.
For many will come to me in the last days and say, I cast out devils, heal the sick, and raise the dead, all in your name. And the Lord will say, get thee hence. I know you not, you workers of iniquity and false prophets and idol worshipers. Now, why would the person that you calling on doing all this stuff reject you when they get here?
Go ahead.
Remember, you say, these people will come to me in the last days, right?
Lord.
And what they gonna say? I cast out demons. I raised the dead. I healed the sick. All in your name.
Yeah.
What name they use?
Exactly. That's the next question.
Then that take us to Proverbs 22. A good name is better, more precious than gold and silver.
They also talk about that in another verse in Romans, where they said that he was given a name that by that name. So it's all them verses connected.
So the easiest way to lead you astray is to change the name.
Facts.
All you got to do is change the name, and you automatically got everybody who believe in the name following the wrong name.
That's
in the name of Jesus when it's supposed to be ISIS. You gonna get rid of the great mother for a little sissy boy. Playing he got a Bible in his hand, coming out, surfing on the cloud, hanging 10, coming around the bend with the Philharmonic Orchestra on the bigger cloud behind him, coming to rescue you for the rapture, you up to heaven with his father.
I heard that perspective too, because I heard that.
That's the most ridiculous and absurd shit a person can tell you to insult your intelligence.
Yeah.
I heard this motherfucker come surfing out the clouds like he a goddamn a hippie surfer with this stringy beard slinging behind him in the wind and a Philharmonic Orchestra following behind him.
Yeah.
I quit.
Yes, it's a lot of that stuff. See that they took a lot of that stuff. Yeah, they took a lot of that stuff from the sun worship and put it into Constantine and tied it into the real, the real storyline. Not so like a lot of that stuff is a tribute to the sun, like the SUN in the sky. It's not even a tribute to a prophet, person, So it's like so the story is like when you say, oh yeah, well, dude come out the clouds, you're talking about the sun, the SUN. You ain't talking about no physical being. You're talking about somebody walking on the water, you're talking about the sun coming over the water on the Nile when they, it's all the it's a whole bunch of
look at it. I don't know what them folks talking about. But you got somebody you got somebody in the chat trying to tell me the Hebrew name of somebody who was named in Greek.
Yeah, we talking about Yahshua.
They trying to tell me a Hebrew name of somebody who's named in Greek.
Yeah, Isus is how they said it became Isus, then Jesus, then Jesus once the monks added the J to it. So at first it was I see what you're saying ISIS because it really was Isus. I can see how they could have got ISIS from there. Then you got
But
Esau.
that ain't even proper pronunciation using the characters of the Greek and the rules of grammar.
Could be. But it's I know in
The
Arabic.
literal proper pronunciation using the rules of grammar is it's IES OUS. So the capital I silences the E. The S silences the O, makes the UH sound as the U crashes into the S for to carry it out with the H sound.
ISIS.
It's ISIS all day long. You can tell me whatever you want to tell me, but you can't tell me that I don't know the rules of grammar.
No, I ain't. No, you know me.
I ain't
don't
talking
say
about
nobody
you.
wrong.
I'm talking about them religious folks.
Yeah, I don't say
Now,
nobody wrong. I just take in perspectives.
when they realize that they gonna find out that was a 21 part play written by Josephus Flavius in the time when they didn't have television.
That's right.
They didn't. All they had was coliseums and plays.
That's right.
And the 21 part play was supposed to be a 21 different people looking at the so-called chosen one and telling a story about when she come.
Right.
We come around the mountain when she come.
When she comes around the mountain when she comes. You might just shave people's head bald right there. They probably don't even know it after that part. Should be coming around the mountain when they always get us. Yes, another thing, Roy. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you said that, man, about the jingles, the different jingles. Now they said that Bob Hope and them and all these other guys, they hired Pacific people that was like Druid. They got to be a certain level trained under the Druids, and they write these jingles, like the Alice in Wonderland.
It's not just what they're looking for is a level of musical mastery.
Okay.
In the most common places that they used to look in the old days was in the secret societies that emphasized the arts in order to develop the feminine nature of women and to the overly masculine males to calm down his testosterone energy.
Mm-hmm.
So they would use theater and ballet and song. And so when you hear about a group of these people coming out of the same secret society, it was geared to prepare them to be music writers and singers and instrument players. But then you have something that comes along and they call him a prodigy.
Yep.
And they can exploit him early on because his musical genius is magnetic to the ears of the people, the Pied motherfucking Piper.
Just like Quincy Jones became the one of the protocol guys for their society, especially for me, because he wrote a lot like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
But look, even before that though, Quincy didn't come to fame doing jazz R&B. He came to musical prominence doing movie scores.
Okay, go ahead. I know that.
Doing the movie scores, he was able to access a higher bracket of Hollywood integrity than anybody before him. And you got to remember, Ray Charles was taking the blues into orchestra.
Go ahead. Yep. Yep.
Right. It's the same with Barry White. They was using the orchestra principles as their foundation for developing new and compelling music.
Yeah, classical, mixing classical.
Right. And we already know that Barry White flat out told you he was a self-made god.
Right. Straight up.
Right. And in order for him to reach that level of mastery, you got to put in the practice and the work.
Yeah, that dude can play any instrument. He can write a whole fucking orchestra. Like he's a maestro for real, like the real maestro. You know what I'm saying?
They didn't call him that for no reason.
Right.
You look at the Motown machine and the writers in there, Hayoka High Priest, Smokey Robinson was a prime writer.
Right.
Right. And they drew other people in, but they was all centered around the writings of Smokey Robinson. He a full-fledged Hayoka High Priest. All day long.
Right.
Right. That's why he can tell you he proud to be black, but he ain't no goddamn African because he know who they are.
Right.
Right. And people be like, oh, he just don't like himself because he don't want to be black. Nah, he understand beyond the veil.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. He tell you how to read the tears of a clown.
Now, for our okay, let's just say this. Okay, so we got like people like Oprah Winfrey. You know, we know for sure she's a part of some kind of high rank. Or ain't no way you get a.
She's a Delta. She's a Delta from a college fraternity.
Okay.
She's pledged Delta.
Okay, Delta. Okay.
And
So
then she dipped by the boule.
okay, the boule. Okay, I can see that. And then usually I always had a Jew. They always say they got a Jewish handler, but they never mention them. Maybe it might be some dark black haired guy popping them. You know what I'm saying? They got a Jewish handler in the background. Like I always knew. Like they said that Oprah Winfrey, when you go chase her back, you find out it's a Jewish guy. That's her handler. All these billionaires, every billionaire, it's always some kind of. They'll never show the guy. They just say, "Oh, it's a Jewish guy." That she's close and good.
Okay, then you got to look at why that is. There's more than one reason why that is.
Go ahead.
Historically, the best people in the American legalese system
Right.
have been classified as Jews.
That's facts. I heard that.
And most of the entertainers' interest is protected by the attorney that they hire to represent their interests and help them manage their estate. He's permanently on payroll.
Right.
So it's a lawyer that got a permanent check coming. He only got to look at your stuff a couple times a year, make sure you ain't fucking up. But he can still practice law somewhere else on somebody else's case.
Right.
So how many people does it take for him to get massively paid? Then they have a network of brotherhood, an organization where they sit around and they make sure everybody got a client.
Right.
Right. These people became known as handlers because they handled them people's money.
Right.
And some of the handlers, when you go back to the 50s and 60s, would have total control of the artist's money. And if they decided to walk away, they could take all of their wealth with them, as has been done, without consequence, because the artist was signed to them as a representative.
Like Jerry Heller.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Heller, Easy E them, you know, with the you know how that went down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
Jerry Heller. That was the Jerry Heller walked into them goddamn suits and bow ties.
Right. The dark hand. Black hand was working Jerry
No,
Heller.
no black hand there. That was a straight up in your face FOF, motherfucker. You ain't finna come over here and keep doing this bullshit.
Oh, you saying the FOI got with Jerry Heller and shut him down?
You don't remember an Easy story when they had to go to that's when Ice Cube left.
Yeah. They went to the White House.
And then Ice Cube sent one of his homeboys a FOI to go talk to Easy. Easy then was asking the FOI about using them for security. He was using Crips up until then.
Yeah. Yeah. Big Crips too.
And then when Jerry Heller seen them bow ties when he walked in, he like shit on himself. He thought the gig was up. But the gig was up. He just didn't know it.
Yeah, it was up. He got rid of him eventually, with just used him as like you know, kind of
if you pay attention, the only ones that they don't mess with is the fruit.
Right.
They push up on everybody else, gang banging and fucking set tripping. And I ain't talking about us. I'm talking about them big bankers.
Yeah.
I'm talking about them Hollywood execs.
Yeah.
Right? They'll send somebody that look like you down in your neighborhood to pay somebody you grew up with that's got a little bit of jealousy to shoot you in your face.
Yeah. Yeah.
As a sacrifice.
Man, honestly, I believe now, man, I'm starting to think with all the new images that I got of Diddy supposedly in jail, they don't even look like Diddy, man. They said that all of a sudden one day, and it said like the same storyline they gave us with Epstein, that all of a
It's
sudden,
the same storyline that is tied together.
oh, okay, he had a heart attack.
They tied together. When they start releasing a lot of information, it's the Diddy files is gonna drag out the Epstein files.
Right.
The Epstein files gonna drag out the Podesta files.
Right.
And then it's gig up from there.
Anthony Weiner's laptop, I mean, domino effect, right? Because we forgot about Anthony Weiner's laptop.
This stuff look like it ain't even got no relation to it, but it's directly connected.
Yeah.
You gotta remember. So why is Puffy filming these freak off parties? He's getting dirt on people. Why was Epstein inviting people to the island to get dirt on people?
Why?
And you think they not trading in smut?
Right.
You think that Puffy never heard of Epstein while he was doing his freak off parties?
Right. Right.
He never met Ghislaine Maxwell. Look, it's like what my man said in The King of New York. If it's a nickel bag sold in the park, I won't eat it. Them human traffickers is more territorial than drug dealers.
Yeah.
They need to control as much of the operation as possible. Let somebody from the outside bring too much heat.
Man,
then they all got to get their children from somewhere.
Yeah, that's right.
And while they getting these babies, they getting them through child protective service agencies, third world relief project agencies. Right? They buying them directly off the carts on the Evergreen tankers.
Right.
They bidding and auctioning them off like meat, disguising them as furniture on Wayfair and Walmart websites.
Yeah. I did analogies on Diddy's, like a psychological analogies. And a lot of stuff I found out that I didn't know that may tie in. Okay. So his dad was a driver for Frank Lucas. His dad's name was Melvin Combs, I think that was his name. He was a driver for Frank. Turned out he ended up, I think he ended up snitching on somebody and they put him out of business. Okay. So Diddy could go connect back with Bumpy and Frank Lucas and all of them, right? So Diddy, to me, it seemed like the Diddy would have that type of that mafia type mentality. Get some dirt on a guy. He come from that type of background. Have some on the guy. And then you can use that as leverage. So I think that a lot of the people in the industry was happy when Diddy went down because he was extorting half of them. He probably was extorting Ursha, everybody that he got videos on. Like, look, if I got a video on you getting hit up the butt, and I say, look, man, you ought to come up with 10,000 or some area, month or so, or else this video going out of, Brian Pompa ripping your behind wide open. And you gonna pay that 10 grand if you Meek Mills or somebody like that. If somebody that's out here, going around, I'm a Crip, I'm riding the 6'4", I'm a Crip blood from the West Coast. But then Diddy got you on tape and somebody opening up your can. How is they gotta look for your gangster? I'm a thug. This masculine.
There's a whole bunch of download niggas that's gangster.
Go ahead.
Don't let that fool you. Look, some of them gangsters go out and kill 10 people and come back and bend over and want you to put something in them. Don't you believe for a minute because they gangster, they don't mess around. Right. That's why niggas get raped in penitentiary, because you got fags in the penitentiary raping niggas. And they normally pick on the weak. Then you find people like me, you find all these little characters running up to you that you don't know from Iraq and Iraq seeking help to protect them from some predatory, twisted-minded individual gangster.
Right.
Called himself a gangster. He hardcore. He was getting them in the streets. He was flipping 3 birds a week in here chasing boy booty.
In the jail. He's a a booty chaser. And then look, this is what I think, man. Based on my analogies, like I said, Diddy, like he come from that type of background where he can extort the extortion, that extortion, that type of energy. So
Look,
so
the
don't be.
Diddy situation is bigger than what y'all think.
Go ahead.
Everybody just looking at his depraved events and all that. So far, they haven't really mentioned no real criminal
Really.
activity
Maybe
with evidence. Listen what I'm saying. They've introduced allegations.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen any evidence to support the allegations. They say they got it on tape. We ain't seen no leaked footage.
Right.
Right. We seen leaked footage of the snowman raping that little girl on Lolita Express and the other one on the beach.
Yeah.
On the island. Those leaked back in the day.
Yeah.
Right. Long before we even heard of Epstein, those leaked.
Right. Right.
So it ain't no secret about what Bill Clinton was doing. He on video.
Right.
Right. And everybody that was doing the dirt is on video, and everybody that wasn't involved in no dirt, they could be on camera, but they ain't on camera doing no dirt. Somebody had to lay eyes on that bullshit.
Right. So what you said